Asia is like a third of the population, so that's a huge opportunity.
In Bangkok, what's he doing over there?
I'm happy.
Oh, geez. Speaking of Latin America. All right, let's go. Let's talk about.
Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
Oh, yeah. One of us is cuddly as a cactus, and the other is charming as an eel. Hi, kids. It's the Chad and Cheese Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel Mystery Drones Cheeseman.
And this is Chad. You're stressing me out. So wash.
And on this episode, branching out, is TikTok out, and what you talking about? Let's do this.
Willis.
At Shaker Recruitment Marketing, our comprehensive services include branding, talent attraction, MarTech, and analytics, empowering you to achieve your recruitment marketing goals. We believe in doing things the right way, delivering the right message through the right activation, achieving the right conversion. For us, business is deeply personal. Our legacy is built on relationships. Together with our people, clients, and partners, we've been shaping the world of talent for over 70 years.
That wasn't a very good Gary Coleman, circa 82. Different strokes.
Let's do this, Willis.
Man, I am tired today. Here's why. Little story.
Yeah.
So the wife is out of town, which means sometimes Peepers
Parties.
gets to come into bed.
Oh, okay.
And Peepers has the Jimmy leg. He snores. He farts. Like he's a nightmare to sleep with. But at 13 years old, which I think is like 94 in human years, yeah. I don't have the heart to kick him out of bed. So I just have a shitty night's sleep instead of kicking the dog out. I don't know if that's that's humanitarian that I am, but I
appreciate that.
I slept really poorly. In addition to that,
yes.
Are you seeing this news about the drones over New Jersey? Are you getting that in Portugal?
I am not.
The news is freaking me out, Chad. First we had aliens in the ocean. Okay. We had people go in front of Congress talk about alien ships in the ocean. And now we have drones over New Jersey, apparently other parts of the world. We're not shooting these things. No, the government doesn't know what they are. We can't shoot them out. Apparently they disappear if we get too close or something. It's just really,
are they
really
alien
weird.
Drones?
We don't know. That's the problem. Some congressman said they think there's a mothership, an Iranian mothership that's launching these things. The Pentagon said that's bullshit. People are saying China. People are saying the aliens are finally here and they're setting up in New York, the tri-state area
with drones.
Yeah, with drones. It's
okay.
And these things are apparently as big as a car or a truck. These aren't like the recreational drones that your kids got for Christmas. Like these are huge drones. It's really creeping me out. Yeah.
Wow.
The end is near.
End of the world as we know. Yeah, no, I've been watching a bunch of YouTube videos about how Ukraine is beating the shit out of Russia with drones. I love it. You got like Mattel toys that are taking these T-90 tanks out. That to me is the coolest thing ever. This little thing, got a little block of C4 on it, right into the crease of the turret, and a multi-million-dollar tank, a dud. That's pretty amazing. So
yeah, they got drones look like birds. They got like the world of warfare is going into some weird places, and I'm not sure it's great for humanity.
Nothing. Yeah, none of this is going to be great for humanity, kids. None of it.
Yeah, let's just get to shout outs, which is sponsored by our friend.
Take off, we were doing our movie.
At
Don't wreck our show, you
up
poser.
north. That's right, Kiora, the key to
Yora.
Solid and inexpensive text recruiting. I just made it their tagline. The key
That was nice.
to text
The
recruiting.
key
Text recruiting. What
to
do you got?
Yora.
I'm going to go first for shout outs
Okay.
because I gotta come back from the ledge a little bit. There's a new documentary on HBO or Max, whatever you prefer to call it. It's on Yacht Rock.
Oh.
It's called Yacht Rock Documentary, and documentary is
Nice.
spelled DOCK, like dock of a boat, I guess. But if you lived around the late 70s to early 80s, I mean, Steely Dan, Toto, Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins,
Cross.
like I smiled half the episode. Just the memories, the cool laid back California, just the sounds. I mean, Michael McDonald with the hair and the beard, just great, just a really great feel good documentary. If you remember those times,
that's for sure.
Yeah, you got to watch it. I highly recommend it. Yacht Rock documentary on Max. Check it out.
Yeah, the Christopher Cross, a guy who looks like you but has the voice of an angel. MTV is what killed that man's career because he looked like Baby Huey, but he had a great voice, right? And MTV
in the industry, you're kind of spoiling it, but they talk about the demise of Yacht Rock.
Yeah.
It was MTV. Like if you didn't have the look, if you couldn't perform on camera, if you weren't Duran Duran or Madonna, like you were out. So, but also
luckily
a little
Kenny
bit
Loggins
of spoiler. A lot of the Toto guys
Yeah.
were responsible for a lot of the Thriller and Michael Jackson's career.
Really?
So there is a link there. I won't spoil it, but you got to check it out. It's pretty. If you like music history, it's also very, very interesting. But shout out to Yacht Rock and the Yacht Rock documentary.
Nothing but a good Yacht Rock playlist on Spotify, kids.
Oh
Go check it
yeah, totally.
Hey, listener. Hey, I'm seeing here that you're watching every single week. Yeah, I know YouTube, Google, they have these analytics things, and you haven't subscribed yet. I don't know what the problem is. Hopefully, it's probably Joel. I know it's probably Joel, but it's okay. It's okay. He's not here right now. Just go ahead and click subscribe. Click subscribe. Well, my shout out goes to workplace stress. Why? Because it's a problem, Joel. It's a problem. Recently, Yes Madam, an in-house spa service was seemingly concerned about the workplace stress of their employees. And it's understandable because 62% of Indian employees experience burnout, which is about triple the global average due to work-related stress and poor work-life balance. Also, 12 billion working days are estimated to be lost every year around the world to anxiety and depression. That's 96 billion working hours lost. Productivity gone down the drain because people are stressed the fuck out. So, Yes Madam did the only prudent thing that you should do. You should survey your employees, find out who needs help. Well, Yes Madam did that. And just after receiving the results, sent the following email from Yes Madam's, go figure, very empathetic HR manager, which was then leaked to LinkedIn. Quote, recently, we conducted a survey to understand your feelings about stress at work. Many of you shared your concerns, which we deeply value and respect. As a company committed to fostering a healthy and supportive environment, I love this already, we have carefully considered the feedback to ensure that no one remains stressed at work. We have the difficult decision to part ways with employees who indicated significant stress. This decision is effective immediately. And impacted employees will receive further details separately. End quote. Wow.
That is not a happy ending, Chad. That is not a happy ending for those employees.
Apparently, Yes Madam's solution to high stress for 100 employees was you're fired because losing your job isn't stressful at all. No, it's stressful as fuck. So Yes Madam denies they fired or laid off anyone. Oh, wait, Joel. Silly us. It's just a misunderstanding. Right. Like again, the just a couple of excerpts, kids. Quote, we have made the difficult decision to part ways, end quote. And, quote, this decision is effective immediately, end quote. Neither of those two sound like go to the spa for a day, right? So, Yes Madam, was this a stunt? Did they care? Who knows? It's just this is the asshole of the week, kids. The asshole company of the week.
And we actually have the message before Grammarly niced it up.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Good day, ma'am.
Jeez, that is fucked up.
What the fuck?
Exactly.
All right. My second shout out goes to Artisan. Artisan AI. We've talked about them on the show. They are the company that is creating AI workers. So your sales staff, your customer service staff, this is all going to be automated by a company called Artisan, of one of the many. But anyway, they have ads running now at bus stops and billboards in San Francisco that have digital people with the message on the ad that says "Stop hiring humans, Artisan," et cetera, et cetera. Now, so critics are coming out. Reddit apparently is blowing up. People are calling this a dystopian nightmare. But Chad, I call it good marketing. Good marketing is marketing that enrages people, gets people on X and Reddit, and gets everyone fired up. So for my take, shout out to Artisan, the startup. They've raised about $1.5 million. I say they're on their way. Keep your eye out on these guys. Stop hiring humans ad. I know it gets your heart all excited. For
You
sure, but
dumbass.
yes, it does get attention, whether you agree with it or not. Artisan.
Apparently, Yes, Madam and Artisan have the same PR agency. So we're not traveling, but we are traveling. And if we were traveling, Shaker Recruitment Marketing would be powering the travel. But in lieu of travel, we always do free stuff, so it doesn't matter. Free stuff by Chad Cheese. Got to go to chadcheese.com/free. What could you register to win? What, Joel? What?
Oh, so much
T-shirts. T-shirts, the beautiful, soft, cuddly T-shirts that are Chad and Cheese T-shirts that are sponsored by our friends at Aaron App. Bourbon barrel aged syrup. Oh, they're so amazing on the waffles by Kiora.
So good.
Beer, craft beer by Aspen Tech Labs. Love those kids. Whiskey, 2 bottles. You count them. By Tex Kernel. Birthdays, if it's your birthday and you want some rum, you can get it from Plum. That's right, plum.io.
In the air right now?
Got to go to chadcheese.com.
I can feel it all the way down in my
/free.
plums.
That's right, Chad. Some listeners are celebrating another trip around the sun, including Matt Miller, Kim Stewart, Lars Coos, Chaz Johnson, Patrick Hodgson, Lana Schumann, Craig Anderson, Bob Scruggs, Paul Gunderson, Brandy Dawson, Tanya Truelove, Charlene Williams, Natalie Coxworth, Matt Stubbsy Stubbs, Elaine Bailey, Anoop Gupta, and some chick named Julie Sowash. Happy birthday to everybody celebrating her year. What'd you guys do for her birthday?
Went out to eat, sat and enjoyed Portugal. I mean, it's what we do every day. Every day is Julie's birthday. I mean, that's just the way it is.
By the way, you remember, Monica Evji, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So she messaged me this week and said,
TikTok,
if by chance I'm on the giveaway upcoming, like, I'd really love some of that syrup. So Kiora making a difference in Monica's life. A little bird tells me she might get some maple syrup.
She might get some maple syrup.
She might get some goodness. Yeah. Which brings us, Chad, one of my favorite parts of the show, although it's in the fourth quarter. Fantasy football by our friends at Factory Fix. We're going into the final season of the regular season. After that, it's playoffs, baby. Top 4
playoffs.
Next 4, like it's going to be interesting. So here's your leaderboard going into the last week of the regular season. Dean, the daddy back macro man, the guy from down under, he stays on top. The man from down under. I'm sticking at that number 2 spot, followed by you with a bullet coming up at the number 3 spot. David Stiefel, Keith Sonderling. Keith could be the upset guy.
He could be.
If he wins this week, he could move into that playoff position. The commissioner might have his best trick saved for last, followed by Laura Martinelli, Christy Lisbon, Action, Jackson Dahlquist, Dina Pero for Pyros, number 10, Jennifer Terry Tharp, Sean Horton Here's a Who stays at that 11 spot and scooping up the shit at the back of the parade is our friend Adam
Welcome
Gordon.
to all things
Apparently,
Scottish. Our slogan is, if it's no Scottish, it's crap!
apparently some things out of Scotland are crap. Stay away from fantasy American football to our Scottish friends. But that is another week of fantasy football brought to you by our friends at Factory Fix, which rolls us right into.
I think I played the commish this week.
Who do you have this week?
I think I'm playing the commish this week.
Okay, so if he wins, does that drop you to like the 5th
No.
if he comes?
Nope.
No chance. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
anyway.
No, I have the second most points in the league at number 3. So, yeah.
And I have the least amount of the playoff teams currently. But hey, you got to win.
It's all about
you
luck and
gotta
timing,
win, man.
baby.
You gotta
Luck
win.
and timing. That's right.
All right, let's go into some education, as if our show hasn't been educational enough. From a recent episode of 60 Minutes, Khanmigo, an AI tutor, is now in 266 U.S. schools. It offers rapid lesson planning and interactive learning by encouraging critical thinking over rote answers. It's been tested for its ability to provide feedback, detect plagiarism, and personalize learning with plans for integrating advanced vision technology. Ooh, this tool aims to revolutionize teaching by providing time-saving benefits and tailored educational experiences while maintaining the importance of human interaction and education. Sounds too good to be true, Chad. What are your thoughts on Khanmigo and the AI in the classroom trend?
So, have you ever used Khan Academy?
No.
It is fucking amazing. I remember when kids were in middle school and high school and they'd have homework questions. And in many cases, I would pull up Khan Academy to search for the type of math equations or what have you. And we would solve them together. Because to be quite frank, I was rusty. Right. And whenever your kids come to you with questions, you want to at least try to help. Right. Well, I knew I was rusty. I needed a little Khan Academy. So I used Khan Academy, and it was fun for both of us. And it was a really cool experience. So I am a huge fan of Sal Khan. And let's just put it this way. I'm going to put it out in the universe, kids.
Put it out there.
Sal Khan should be leading the Department of Education in the U.S. He created Khan Academy in 2006, where he used recorded videos of himself teaching how to solve math problems for his nephews. And then he scaled it to help teach math and science to thousands via video. With math, engineering, and computer science degrees from MIT. He's not a dumb guy. His genius was amplified with money from the Gates Foundation, allowing Khan Academy to reach millions, right? So now Khanmigo is being piloted by 266 school districts in the U.S., providing teaching assistance for teachers and personal tutors for kids. We have an education problem in the U.S. and in many countries all over the world. We don't have enough teaching talent. Those teachers are being stretched way too thin with bigger and bigger classes. And then in their off/downtime, they need to create lesson plans that could take hours, days, maybe even weeks. So having the right people in place to guide the tech and then allowing LLMs to learn, then scale, support as teacher assistants or tutors is exactly what AI was used for. We hear about all these bad deep fakes, hallucinations, but what about the great stuff? This is the great stuff, and we need to have more humans like Sal Khan doing the good work. This is I think one of the best stories of 2024.
Oh, that's nice.
Winning.
So necessity is the mother of invention. And here's a few numbers for you. There are currently 55,000 vacant teaching positions in America. 270,000 of those are filled by underqualified teachers. The annual salary for a teacher is 8% less than the average wage for all workers in the country. And a recent survey of teachers, 40% of them say they're looking to leave the profession in the next 2 years. So we need something teaching our kids. And if we're not going to pay people like the rock stars they are to teach, which doesn't seem like something that's going to happen. I've called for it on the show quite a bit. They should all get 6 figures coming out of college to teach schools. Yeah. If local state governments don't want to pay teachers, they should be able to find a way to pay I think it's $15 per student to have this technology in the classroom. Makes a teacher's job that much easier, much more interactive and engaging. It's able to get in front of every student and be a friend. The ability to track students are having a hard time, which ones are having a hard time. It's basically bringing AI, what we talk about in the workforce, into the classroom. Who's struggling? Who's excelling? Where do they need help? Who should I focus on today? All that AI and that data comes in to teaching, which makes it a lot more efficient. I love the visual stuff, like to be able to watch you, the where's the brain go? Like, excellent. It goes in the head. Like, where's the liver? It's on the other side. So this is the future. It has to be, because we're not going to pay teachers what we should, but we can find ways to pay for technology. My hope is that it democratizes education. Rural kids, urban inner city kids that don't have good teachers, 2 full classrooms, don't get any attention, is hopefully going to happen. I do have some fear that the equipment that you need, which isn't crazy, right? You need desktop, you need laptops, you need tablets. A lot of school districts don't have the money to have those things. Rural districts, broadband internet is not common in a lot of rural areas. 25% was the last number I saw. 5% of urban areas don't have broadband internet. So some of those things have to happen for this to really come to fruition. But again, like you said, if we're going to spend money, it's a lot easier to spend money on technology and the equipment to do those things than it is to hire people and keep those people, happy in a job. The one criticism or the one nuance I think of this is that the examples they had on 60 Minutes were pretty much the sciences. So it was math, it was biology, it was kind of stuff like 1 + 1 = 2. When you get into stuff like history, the social studies, the things that there's nuance around, I wonder how the technology can give you different aspects of different events in history, right? Because things can be looked at differently. So I'd like to see it in that aspect of education. But there's no question that for our kids to be educated, something has to happen, and it looks like AI, for all its scariness that is permeating society. If we can educate a lot more kids and get them on the road to success, I think that is a fantastic thing, and this is a feel-good story for sure. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube, search 60 Minutes.
Oh, it's awesome.
Khanmigo.
Khanmigo.
It's about 15 minutes
Khan.
of good stuff. Yeah, for good stuff.
I mean, so we can, I think, pretty much all agree that 1 + 1 = 2, right? And so the math and science stuff is pretty solid. The hard part is, the history around, very volatile figures like Hitler or things of that nature, right? When you have individuals who are out there who are like, well, he did some good stuff. Yeah. I can see why they haven't gotten into that, and they might not, right? Mm-hmm. They just might not, just because of, how flaming bullshit is happening all over the
story in
place.
Florida, right? And I can tell you, Chad, I had the fortunate setup of in Indiana in 5th grade, you get Indiana history. In Texas, in 7th grade, you get Texas history. The book in Texas is about that thick, and Indiana, it's about like that thick, but that's a different story. And I can tell you that the description of slavery in Indiana history is just a little bit different than the description of slavery it is in Texas. So how is AI going to handle those nuances throughout history will be interesting. Be interesting.
It will be.
60% of the time, it works every time.
What you talking about, Willis? Let's talk about WhatJobs, Chad. What? Who? A London-based job search engine founded in 2019 will launch in the U.S. in January of 2025, appointing Angie Brooks, ex-Adzuna, to lead the organization. Brooks, with 25 years in recruitment, will hope to enhance ties with recruiters and drive U.S. growth. The platform will introduce AI job matching, of course, offering curated job selections to improve what they say is better efficiency. Another senior hire is planned for January 2025 to aid this expansion. Chad, what's up with WhatJobs?
Angie Brooks is a player, man. In our space, she's a player. I mean, back in the early aughts, she was with TrueStar Solutions. Remember those guys? Out of Indianapolis. Then she was with Next for 10 years, and then she obviously did some time in Adzuna. Now, I've never heard of WhatJobs until recently, but it's, as you'd said, a London-based company. So I reached out to some friends in the UK for some insights. I mean, a company trying to break into the US has to be a known entity in the UK, right? Well, the answer is no. My contacts knew little to nothing about WhatJob, and it's pretty simple to understand because Europe is a duration-based market. They haven't gone all in on performance-based. So here are the three problems I'm saying for Angie and the crew. Problem number one, they are a performance-based platform in the UK, a duration-based market. That's an issue. They're selling a product to a market that just isn't buying. Problem number two, they only sell CPC, which is a signal that they're just looking for a money grab, and or that's just another signal that their tech is prehistoric. Only been around from 2020 though. Problem number three, they want to come to the US, which is where they should have started, and the timing is not great. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. We've seen performance-based companies like Sonic Jobs start in the UK and successfully crack the US market. The big difference is that Sonic is much more than basic PPC. They're providing advanced tech and brought on advisors who knew go-to-market and how to properly crack the US market. Plus, everybody in the US does CPC. That's fucking table stakes. So what's so special about WhatJobs? We've also seen companies like Vonk, who are duration and performance based. Vonk tried cracking the US market, hired some great US talent, and then in the very short time found themselves sounding the retreat horn back to the European shores. So I really hope that WhatJobs has a big funding round that they're preparing to announce along with this other senior position, because if they want to come to the US, they're going to need a lot of cash,
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
Or they could just hire Art Zeal from Dice, and then it's all gravy. It's all gravy from there. Yeah, tell me if you've heard this one before. I don't know, Auto, Nuvo, now talent.com, Jobs to Careers, job.com, Adzuna, you mentioned a few. Apparently there are 10,000 job sites. This is per Chris Foreman at Appcast, who we interviewed recently. Like, it's really, really hard to have a job board and cut through the noise and the clutter and make an impact. Like, I
thought he said 30,000.
Was it? I mean,
said,
well,
yeah,
30,000
30,
sites,
30,
I think, but I think he said 10,000 job boards.
Okay.
And I don't. Angie Brooks can walk on water. I like, show me the go-to-market, show me the money, show me what you're going to do to spend, because they are as traditional a job site as I've seen in a long time. Like, they still have the links at the bottom of like every location, every job, like all the SEO stuff. So like, you have your job cut out for you no matter what. Indeed and LinkedIn kind of have 80% of what's going on. That leaves the 20% left for you. And you're coming into this market out of the UK, hire some people, but you better spend some money. You better spend some pounds. You better get some sterling. You better like drop some coin. And then it's just a game of like, keep spending, because once you stop spending, the traffic dries up and the attention and the jobs dry up as well. So okay, we'll see. Good luck, Angie. Angie must love getting hit in the head on a regular basis, because that's what she's going to deal with as these guys try to come into the market.
She's in strategic partnerships, so yeah, that's kind of part of her job.
I mean, who's she partnering with? Facebook? Like, I mean, shit better be huge. They don't even have a TikTok presence, Chad. What kind of job board today that wants to break into America doesn't have a TikTok platform? Jeez. You done messed up, Aaron. Good luck, Angie. Good luck. What's up? What up? What jobs? We'll be right back.
So you posted a new job ad. Now you can sit back and wait for the applications to roll in, right? That's why we built JobPixel. Imagine showing candidates why your company is great with real people, real stories, and real culture. With JobPixel, it's not just another job ad. It's an invitation to something much bigger.
Video gives you a 3 times better response rate. So instead of chasing after candidates, they'll be coming to you.
And with a 34% boost in conversions, candidates aren't just looking, they're applying.
And if you're worried about people clicking away, don't be. Our videos reduce bounce rates by 25%. That means they're watching, they're engaged, and they're interested.
282% more engagement. Yeah, you're gonna need a bigger inbox.
Finding the right candidate is tough, but with JobPixel, it doesn't have to be. Show your company's authentic story, and the candidates will follow.
Let's make recruiting fun again, because honestly, it could use some help.
Do you want to see how JobPixel can save you time and money while achieving your KPIs? Schedule a demo today.
All right, Chad, from one company to another. And this one is not out of England. They are out of Canada.
Take off, will you? We're doing our movie. Don't wreck our show, you hoser.
Hiring Branch, a Montreal company focused on evaluating job candidates' soft skills, has secured $3.5 million USD in a Series A funding round. The funds will support expansion into markets in North and Latin America, Asia, and the UK. Founded in 2014, Hiring Branch specifically uses AI to assess soft skills through interactive voice and chat, aiming to reduce the need for traditional interviews. Chad, your thoughts on this deal? And did you bring your Montreal Canadiens jersey to Portugal?
I did not, because it's heavy, and I don't need something heavy on when it's nice and warm here. First off, we reached out to Beth. We're friends with the peeps over at Hiring Branch, love them to death. In a study entitled "Accurately Measuring Soft Skills: Large Language Models versus Hiring Branch," quote, Hiring Branch ran a series of fine-tuning experiments using the Dilbert machine learning technology. No, that's not Dilbert's. That's Distilbert. Yeah. Using Distilbert to measure what the accuracy its soft skill predictions would have on different various data sets. While equipped with billions of variables, large public data sets led to poor accuracy results, meaning there wasn't enough data for an algorithm to learn to detect soft skills accurately, end quote. So very simple. We've talked about this story before. In this very early era of mass AI adoption, it's starting to become clearer and clearer that the large language models are powerful engines, but the training data sets are the rocket fuel. And without the right fuel, your engine just doesn't perform. So yes, hyper-focused point solutions will easily outperform massive LLMs, at least in the very early era of AI. The key for all of these vendors is to do exactly what Hiring Branch is doing. Hone in on your expertise, find a market that will buy it, and then sell the living hell out of it. And wait for that M&A hiring department to come knocking. Wait, hopefully many of them come knocking, because as we've seen the shift in tech, there are going to be many less companies who want to become, quote unquote, a platform. And they're going to be just a killer point solution that's going to be gobbled up by some of these bigger Goliath platforms that are more legacy, although have a shit ton of cash.
Did I mention my wife is French Canadian in the opening? Probably did not.
I didn't sound Canadian.
I'm a little biased. Yeah, no. The sexiest language, in my opinion, probably French. God. So yeah, I'm biased. I like the gang at Hiring Branch. We've done at least one event. I took my wife out to Montreal. They took us to a Canadiens game. Like, very nice people. Stefan is great. I met a company in 2003, I think, called Cymax, who did assessments, and they spewed all this thing about algorithm and science and PhDs and shit. And it felt like witchcraft to me then, and it still feels kind of witchcrafty to me now. When I look at Tradeify, Plum, HiredScore, like Tradeify to say we show some images and we can like that all seems so witchcrafty and beyond, I guess, sort of my pea brain. But the proof is in the pudding. Companies use this stuff, and apparently retention goes up, hiring is faster. I did love the initial messaging from hiring branch. It was like "fuck interviews." Still have the T-shirt. Got a T-shirt from them. And
now that's great PR.
If it's good stuff. Evan White, shout out to our friend Evan White for that one probably, and Beth as well, marketing person there. If it works, it works. And companies love this shit. Like if you can take out interviewing from the process, and these guys have a way to do it with assessments. I mean, obviously Paradox, everyone is kind of trying to do this. If they can do it and do it well, there's a market there for it. There are companies that will do it. And I think there's a huge amount of runway for growth. And to me, that's probably driving what is going on at this company. Like, I mean, Canada, large landmass, 30 some million people, like it's California. So if you can get a little fuel to get this thing out into more of North America, the UK, I love the Latin America angle was really interesting as well. Like you can scale this thing up and make a real business. So although I don't claim to understand all the shit that goes on in these assessments and testing tools, I do appreciate the growth rate of what's going on and what these companies are doing. So I say party on, Wayne, party on, Garth. This is good stuff. As far as
sounds like a land and expand when they're doing where they're talking about Latin America and those types of things, where they actually have clients, obviously, that are either Canadian or US, and they're expanding into different markets. So just again, for our friends at Hiring Branch, don't start getting salespeople into Latin America. Don't fucking do it. Just focus on Canada and the Americas, and then expand where those companies, those new clients take you. Okay, that's just for friendly advice.
Yeah, I do keep in touch with Stefan occasionally, and I know he's in Asia a lot. I mean, Asia is like a third of the population, so that's a huge opportunity.
In Bangkok, what's he doing over there?
I'm happy.
Oh, geez. Speaking of Latin America, all right, let's go. Let's talk about Meta, one of your faves. Meta is exploring nuclear energy for its AI projects, targeting operational reactors by the early 2030s, aligning with Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. AI's rising energy needs and carbon-free goals drive this initiative despite nuclear's safety concerns and historically bad PR. The Inflation Reduction Act offers nuclear incentives, but these might change under Donald Trump. States like Utah and Texas are backing nuclear for its carbon benefits. Chad, what are your thoughts on the growing need and adoption of nuclear energy?
So, I mean, a question to ChatGPT takes about 10 to 30 times more energy than a traditional Google search, depending on its complexity. Training a large language model like OpenAI's ChatGPT, for example, uses nearly 1,300 megawatt hours of electricity, that the annual consumption of 130 US homes. And by 2026, it's estimated that collective generative AI models will use more energy than all of Japan. Now, Microsoft recently announced its CO2 emissions has risen nearly 30% since 2020 due to data center expansion, and Google's 2023 greenhouse gas emissions up 50% higher than it was in 2019. So we want to cut greenhouse gas emissions, but the use of and development of AI isn't slowing down. So we need to have something done. Something has to be done fast. Well, I mean, unless you really like, crazy weather patterns, flooding, cyclone bombs, atmospheric rivers, and, shit like that.
Mysterious drones in New Jersey. Yeah.
Which I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan. So what happens when Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, and other massive corporations start pulling more and more and more energy from the grid? Will neighborhoods have to use rolling blackouts? Because, I mean, some of these guys are talking about creating their own, but they're going to be tapping into the local grid as well. So, I mean, would the demand be too much and drive energy prices higher. That's something that they've actually seen, is that the demand's been too high just for nuclear, and they've had to go back to fossil fuels as a secondary, which boosts the prices. So we're really going to have to be smart about how we do all of this power plant, whether it's wind, solar, it doesn't matter what it is. Is nuclear the answer? Fuck, man, I don't know. But we're talking about single data centers that would require power of a major city. And some companies like Google are planning to build, their very own power plants. But to me, AI is not slowing down. It's consuming faster. We've got to feed it, but we're running out of data. We're running out of energy. What's next? I mean, this to me does nothing but bring more fucking questions about where are we going, and it's kind of scary. I think the drones is that's a fun, happy story compared to
aliens in the ocean, Chad. Aliens in the ocean.
It feels like the Matrix. It does.
Weird times. So I have a couple angles on this. Speaking of yacht rock and the 70s and early 80s, I mean, you and I remember a thing called 3 Mile Island.
Yep.
We were at an age where we didn't understand it, but people were scared to death, and there was a lot of news about it. There was a movie called Silkwood, I think, that came out. To that, a few years later, we had Chernobyl, which scared the shit out of everybody. There's a great series on that as well, a movie that you should watch. And then Japan had one a few years ago. So the PR on nuclear is awful. But the thing is, we were using technology from the 40s, 50s, 60s, like really old shit to power these things. There's another documentary that you should watch. I think it's called In Bill Gates' Brain. It's about Bill Gates and some of the things that he invests in. And one of those things is nuclear energy. I mean, we've made incredible strides in making it safer. There's no meltdown, apparently meltdown risks now. So it's way safer. And if you look at the carbon emissions, zero, you can't be a pro environmental person and not be open to nuclear. From what I can tell, and this isn't my expertise, but wind, solar, it's just not going to get us there by itself. And what you mentioned with AI and the amount of power that's taking, you need something, you need something on steroids, and nuclear seems to do that by not kill the earth in the process. We haven't even talked about what crypto's doing in terms of energy, the energy to mine shit. Again, not my expertise, but we're using a lot of energy in technology, and we need something to do it. I'm all in on nuclear. I think the fear is unnecessary. So I'm all in on that. The second angle of this is, what does it mean for jobs? So I did a little research. Apparently each new reactor supports up to 7,000 jobs during the construction phase. And a single operating nuclear power plant employs between 500 and 800 people. So we can employ a lot of folks. And by the way, because of the PR factor, I don't see a lot of automation in power plants that are nuclear. I don't see a lot of people signing up for no humans at the power plant. Now they're going to be augmented. They'll be supported.
Just wait.
They'll be supported with AI. But I don't. If something bad happens and we go, well, there's nobody there. It's all automated. There's going to be some splaining to do.
Homer Simpson will be there. It'll be fun.
Homer will be there with some donuts. So I think there's going to be a lot of jobs. I think America can kind of lead this area. We know parts of Europe and other parts of the world. I think France has 80% of their energy is nuclear. So a lot of the world is embracing this, and we should as well, because frankly, a lot of the big tech companies are here using all that power. TikTok is also in America, but maybe not for much longer, Chad. Maybe not for much longer. When we come back, we'll talk about the future of TikTok in America.
Hospitality is the heart of our society. It brings people together to share great food, drinks, and experiences. But successfully managing a restaurant or hotel is no easy feat. That's where Harri comes in. Harri is the frontline employee experience platform that helps you build, manage, and engage great teams. With Harri, managers can easily find and hire top talent, manage timekeeping, and communicate with employees at any time from any place. Candidates and team members can quickly and efficiently apply for jobs, swap shifts, and access important information entirely from their mobile devices. And Harri's robust employee engagement tools make team members feel more connected than ever. With Harri, as an owner or operator, you get a bird's eye view of your business, from turnover cost, labor cost, employee sentiment, compliance risk, and team performance. Run your business better by understanding the power of your people. Because when your team is the heart of your business, Harri is the heartbeat. See how it transforms your business.
Maybe Jim Durbin just missed it by a few years, Chad. You may not be able to doom scroll on TikTok much longer unless the social media company finds a way to stop a new law from going into effect in America. The rule, which was signed into law in April, requires TikTok to break ties with its Chinese parent company ByteDance before January 19th of 2025, or it will be banned if it doesn't comply. Chad, what are your thoughts on the future of TikTok in America?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, and the answer's always been money, right? It's gonna fix itself because of the money, and from the numbers that TikTok shared, we would lose $1 billion on day one. Just America, and influencers. People are making money day one, $1 billion. Think of not having Taylor Swift around. I mean, that hurts my heart thinking about something like that. But just like thousands and thousands of mini Taylors. But anyway, yeah, I mean, there are security risks. There's no question, right? There are security risks. We have to be able to take care of those. We have to be able to ensure that, again, we don't have data that's being siphoned off, much like the American company Facebook had, right? So this is not just a TikTok China problem. This is a social media problem. The reason why we focused on TikTok is because they are Chinese and because of ByteDance. And what will Trump do when it comes to this? Well, he'll look, I'm sure, to try to make a deal, but he's not going to care about those influencers, and he's not going to care about that money coming into the country. He's on his last term, kids. Okay. He's not vying to get that next term.
Lame duck.
So he's just going to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. And it doesn't matter if it impacts you or not. So at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done from individuals to be able to lock down the security side of the house. And once that's out of the way, if this means it's bought by another company or what have you, or at least, we have data centers in the US, then great. But it's going to have to get figured out. But I don't think it's going to get figured out by Trump.
That escalated quickly.
So my prediction is there's still a TikTok. It will be divested and it'll suck. And it'll slowly start being shit because China's not going to let the algorithm go. They're not going to give the keys to that golden goose. So the brand TikTok will live. It'll be owned by some antiquated, shitty company that probably gave a lot of money to Trump. And it will slowly just degrade to a point where everyone moves over to Reels or wherever. So I do think it will survive, but it will not survive in the state that we currently know it. It will just sort of wither on the vine. You mentioned money, and that's a huge part of it. I think Trump doesn't want to piss off a lot of the investors and people that are behind TikTok that are frankly in the US. But he also doesn't want to piss people off. A lot of his young influencers that are backing him love TikTok. He's not going to piss them off.
It would just push him to True Social.
If I'm Mark Zuckerberg, this is a opportune time to make friends. I think the market believes that if it doesn't get banned, it's going to be greatly crippled. Meta stock is up over 80% year to date, and they are in the position to benefit if TikTok gets kicked out of the company. And by the way, Chad, dropping on the news sites today, we're recording on a Thursday, Meta just donated $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund. So that $1 million may buy Zuck and Meta some nice some nice influence with the new president.
Imagine that.
I know Zuck has met with him. So Zuck is jockeying to get on Trump's good side, and $1 million goes a long way in an inaugural celebration to get Trump on your side. So I think politics comes into this, money comes into this, but ultimately TikTok as we know it is going to fade into the ether. So build up those followings on Reels and Instagram, kids, because that's where the future is, in my opinion. Or Blue Sky. Is that the new one? What's the new one you're on? Is it Blue Sky?
Yeah, it's pretty much just a Twitter clone. It's a happier version of Twitter. It's a less Nazi version of Twitter.
Jeez. All right. Well, Jesus, it's been one interesting episode. I think the only thing that can save it is a fantastic dad joke. Chad, are you ready for this week's dad joke? It's inspired by.
I have faith in this one.
Inspired by nuclear energy, so it's got to be good. Chad,
it's got to be good.
What did the nuclear physicist have for lunch? What did the nuclear physicist have for lunch?
Oh, I don't know.
Fission chips. Fish and chips. Get it?
I was just saying fission, but that goes with nothing.
Yeah. Fission chips, Chad.
Apparently,
that's right.
chips.
That's
okay.
right.
Yes.
Oh, drones and aliens in the ocean, kids. We out.
We out.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The Chad. The Cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho. Pepper jack. Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chadcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!